International relations are complex. Countries have different interests. These interests can range from economic goals to security concerns and from cultural values to political ideologies. Each nation has its own set of priorities and objectives, which can often be at odds with those of other countries. They compete for power and influence. This competition can manifest in various forms, such as economic sanctions, military posturing, or diplomatic maneuvers. The quest for dominance can lead to tensions and conflicts, making the international arena a highly volatile space. However, even rivals need a way to interact. Diplomatic channels and negotiations become essential tools for managing these relationships. Through dialogue and compromise, countries can find common ground and work towards mutually beneficial outcomes. This is where international rules and institutions come in. Organizations like the United Nations and the International Court of Justice provide platforms for dialogue and dispute resolution. They help to mediate conflicts and ensure that nations adhere to agreed-upon norms and standards. They provide a framework for cooperation. These frameworks include treaties, conventions, and agreements that outline the rights and responsibilities of each country. By adhering to these rules, nations can collaborate on global issues such as climate change, trade, and security. These rules and institutions help to manage competition. They create a level playing field, where countries, regardless of their size or power, can engage in fair and transparent interactions. This helps to prevent the dominance of stronger nations over weaker ones. They set boundaries and expectations. Clear guidelines and protocols ensure that countries know what is acceptable behavior and what is not. This reduces misunderstandings and helps to build trust among nations. They create a system where countries can engage with each other. This system is based on mutual respect and the recognition of each nation's sovereignty. It allows for the peaceful resolution of disputes and the promotion of international cooperation. This is true even when they disagree. Disagreements are inevitable, but having a structured process for addressing them helps to prevent escalation. Through dialogue and negotiation, countries can find solutions that are acceptable to all parties involved. The rules of the road are essential. Just as traffic laws prevent accidents and ensure smooth travel, international rules prevent conflicts and promote orderly interactions. They provide a sense of predictability and stability in an otherwise chaotic world. They prevent chaos and conflict. By establishing clear norms and procedures, these rules help to manage disputes and reduce the likelihood of violent confrontations. Peacekeeping forces and conflict resolution mechanisms play a crucial role in maintaining order. They promote stability and predictability. A stable international system allows for economic growth, social development, and the peaceful coexistence of nations. Predictable rules and norms enable countries to plan for the future and invest in long-term projects. This benefits all countries, not just the most powerful. Smaller and less powerful nations gain a voice and protection under international rules. This inclusivity fosters a sense of global community and shared responsibility. Without rules, the international system would be much more dangerous. The absence of agreed-upon norms would lead to unpredictability and increased risks of conflict. Countries would be more likely to act unilaterally, disregarding the interests of others. Countries would be more likely to resort to force. In a world without rules, military might would become the primary means of resolving disputes. This would lead to a cycle of violence and retaliation, undermining global peace and security. There would be less cooperation and more conflict. The breakdown of international rules would erode trust and make it difficult for countries to work together on common challenges. The world would become a more fragmented and hostile place. After World War II, the United States emerged as the world's dominant power. It played a key role in shaping the post-war international order. The US helped to create many of the institutions that govern global affairs today. These institutions include the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund. They reflect American values and interests. They promote democracy, free trade, and human rights. The US has benefited greatly from this system. It has been able to advance its interests and shape the world in its image. However, this system is now under challenge. China is rising. It is becoming more powerful economically and militarily. It is challenging the US for global leadership. China believes that the current international order does not reflect its interests. China wants to change the rules of the game. It wants a system that gives it more power and influence. China is using its growing economic might to achieve its goals. It is also building up its military capabilities. China's rise is a major challenge to the US-led international order. It is leading to a shift in the global balance of power. This shift is creating tensions between the US and China. The US and China are engaged in a tug-of-war for control of international institutions. The US wants to maintain its dominance. It is resisting China's attempts to change the rules. China, on the other hand, is pushing for reform. It wants these institutions to be more representative of the current global order. This includes giving developing countries a greater voice. This tug-of-war is playing out in a number of areas. These include trade, technology, and security. The outcome of this competition will have a profound impact on the future of the international system. Section 5. The potential for new institutions. As China's power grows, it is creating its own institutions. These new institutions are designed to reflect China's vision for global governance and economic development. These institutions serve as alternatives to the US-led order. They offer countries around the world new options for economic partnerships and development assistance. One example is the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, or AIB. Established in 2015, the AIIB aims to support the building of infrastructure in the Asia-Pacific region. The AIIB is a multilateral development bank. It brings together member countries from across the globe to fund projects that promote sustainable development and economic growth. It finances infrastructure projects in Asia. These projects include the construction of roads, bridges, and energy facilities, which are crucial for the region's development. The US was opposed to the creation of the AIIB. American officials expressed concerns that the bank would undermine existing international financial institutions like the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. However, many US allies, including the United Kingdom, Germany, and France, joined the bank. Their participation signaled a shift in the global economic landscape and a willingness to engage with China's initiatives. The creation of the AIIB is a sign of China's growing influence. It demonstrates China's ability to lead and shape new international institutions that reflect its interests and values. It also highlights the limits of US power. The US can no longer unilaterally dictate the terms of the international order as it once did. The US is no longer able to dictate the terms of the international order. The rise of new institutions like the AIIB marks a significant shift in global power dynamics, indicating a more multipolar world where multiple countries and institutions share influence and leadership. Section 6. Divergent perspectives. The United States and Europe on China. The United States and Europe have different perspectives on China. While both regions recognize China's growing influence on the global stage, their approaches to dealing with this rising power diverge significantly. The United States views China as a strategic competitor. This perspective is rooted in concerns over national security, economic dominance, and technological advancements. American policymakers are wary of China's intentions and are focused on countering its influence. It is focused on containing China's rise. This includes strengthening military alliances in the Asia-Pacific region, increasing defense spending, and implementing policies to restrict Chinese investments in critical sectors. Europe, on the other hand, sees China primarily as an economic opportunity. European countries are keen to tap into China's vast market and benefit from its economic growth. They view China as a vital partner for trade and investment. European countries are eager to increase trade and investment with China. They are actively seeking to expand their economic ties, signing numerous trade agreements and encouraging business collaborations. They are less concerned about the security implications of China's rise. While there are some concerns about China's growing influence, these are often overshadowed by the potential economic benefits. This difference in perspective is creating tensions between the United States and its European allies. The US is pushing for a more unified and tougher stance against China, but Europe is hesitant to follow suit. The United States is pressuring Europe to take a tougher stance on China. American officials argue that a coordinated approach is necessary to address the challenges posed by China's rise. However, Europe is reluctant to jeopardize its economic relationship with China. European leaders are balancing the need to address security concerns with the desire to maintain and grow their economic ties with China. This delicate balancing act continues to shape the transatlantic relationship. Section 7. Tensions and divisions. The competition between the United States and China is leading to tensions and divisions within the international system. Countries are being forced to choose sides. This is undermining global cooperation. The United States is pressuring its allies to distance themselves from China. It is threatening to impose costs on countries that cooperate with China in sensitive areas, such as technology and security. This pressure is creating dilemmas for many countries. They do not want to alienate the United States, but they also do not want to miss out on the economic opportunities presented by China. Section 8. A shifting global landscape. The global balance of power is shifting. China is becoming more powerful. The United States is no longer the only superpower. This shift is having a profound impact on the international system. The rules and norms that have governed international relations for decades are being challenged. New institutions are being created. Old institutions are being reformed. The world is becoming more multipolar. This means that there are multiple centers of power. This is making the international system more complex and unpredictable. Section 9. Conclusion. The inevitability of change. Change is inevitable. The rise of China is a transformative event. It is reshaping the international system. The United States and China are locked in a competition for global influence. This competition is playing out in a number of areas. These include economics, technology, and security. The outcome of this competition will have a profound impact on the future of the world. There is no going back to the old order.
So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and let's turn the page on a new adventure together. Get ready to experience books like never before, only on VBook 360. Like, comment, and share to support the channel and keep the video magic alive. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, every video has a story, and every story deserves to be shared. See you in the next video.